Welcome to the Master Info Week of the Università della Svizzera Italiana. For the whole week, you will find useful resources such as a welcome from our rector, Professor Boas Erez, a campus tour, testimonials from both current students and alumni, and an overview of USI's graduate placement opportunities. You can watch a brief description of our student services and a useful tutorial on how to fill the online application form. Now, you're about to attend a thorough presentation of the master structure and contents. You can ask us any question, academic or administrative related, through the chat below this video or through the form at the bottom of the page. After the presentation, we will answer all your questions during a live session with the director of the program. Thank you and enjoy.
Dear students, welcome to this presentation. My name is Andrea Rocci. I am the Dean of the Faculty of Communication, Culture and Society at USI. I am also the Director for USI of the Master of European Studies in Investor Relations and Financial Communication, ASIR for short. This is a joint master produced together with Università, Cattolica, the Sacro, Cuore in Milan, Italy. What is this master about? Let me explain that with one example. Some years ago, Janet Yellen, chair of the Federal Reserve, commented about the importance, the strength of communication as a tool for central bankers. And in Europe, we had an important, even iconic example, that of Mario Draghi in July 2012, when in a speech he said, "But there is another message I want to tell you. Within our mandate, the ECB is ready to do whatever it takes to preserve the euro, and believe me, it will be enough." This message, as I said, became iconic and also played an important, even critical role as part of the policy to preserve the euro. More in detail, what is this master about? The goal is to form professionals that are able to communicate correctly and effectively in a European and international context on complex subjects such as banking and finance. These are people that are able to manage institutional and interpersonal relations, taking into account culture of the people they're speaking with, but also the regulatory frameworks, the legal frameworks of reference that are very important in matters of banking and finance. These are professionals that are capable of dialogue and relation with different institutions and different people. Institutions can be public institutions such as the European institutions or the Swiss institutions, private institutions such as bank, financial intermediaries, institutional investors, consulting firms that operate in the area of finance. And it can also be individual investors, wealth management clients, the so-called ultra-high net worth individuals, entrepreneurial families that need expertise from financial professionals, and the family office that take care of their interests. In order to do so, these professionals have to be prepared to deal with institutional, regulatory, economic, of course, financial, but also cultural issues. There is a number of emerging cultural issues that affect the way people and institutions behave in the financial markets, the way in which they deal with investment activities. Issues of inclusion, issues of environmental sustainability, issues of cultural and religious diversity that affect the way people deal with money and finance, and also the desire of helping other people. So philanthropy is becoming more and more a factor that guides the choice of individual in financial activities. All these needs for a professional are addressed by an interdisciplinary program, such as the one that we put together with our colleagues at Università Cattolica. There are 4 pillars of this interdisciplinary program. One pillar is finance and accounting, the technical matters of financial activities. But at the same time, you need to deal with these matters, you need a preparation in legal matters, and you need to be prepared to deal with institutions, and in particular international institutions. At the same time, you need techniques and understanding of communication processes, and that's the communication sciences pillar. And finally, last but not least, you need to communicate and to speak in more than one language. Not just your native language, not just English, but at least one other European language, and why not an extra European language. Building this communicative competence in different languages will be a possibility that is offered to you in this master. 2 cities, 2 universities, Milan, the financial capital of Italy, the Catholic University, a large university in Milan, a historical university. You see here a photo of the beautiful Bramante cloisters in the main, in the headquarters of Università Cattolica. Lugano, a small city on the shores of Lake Ceresio, a nice place to live, but also one of the important banking centers of Switzerland, in particular for the wealth management industry. The USI, it's a young university, as you know. It's a dynamic and particularly international university. So you will see a video in a few minutes where Professor Elena Beccali, Dean of the Faculty of Banking and Finance, will explain you the contribution of Università Cattolica to this master, and in particular of the 2 faculties of Università Cattolica that are involved, the Faculty of Banking and Finance and the Faculty of Linguistic Sciences.
As the Dean of the School of Banking, Finance and Insurance at Università Cattolica, I'm very pleased to announce this joint master program with Università della Svizzera Italiana in Lugano. Università Cattolica is the largest Catholic university in the world, with 4 main campuses in Italy and 12 schools, ranging from banking, finance and insurance up until linguistic sciences. The idea of this very innovative and new master program is to bring together 3 main bodies of knowledge: the one in banking and finance, the one in linguistic sciences, and the one in financial communication. And therefore, the 2 schools in Milano will deliver knowledge in banking and finance and linguistic sciences, whereas the department in Lugano will deal with financial communication. So the idea of this international and interdisciplinary program is exactly to form a new profession, especially the one of the investor relator and financial communicator, that is very much required in the banking industry nowadays. So our students will spend the first year in Milano, the second year in Lugano, and we believe this is a great opportunity for our students because they will spend their studying period in 2 major banking cities, Milano and Lugano. And so I'm really looking forward to meeting you in our Bramante cloisters here in Milano at Università Cattolica.
Let us move to the study plan. The study plan is on 2 years. First year in Milan at Università Cattolica, second year in Lugano at USE. So the first year deals mainly with 2 pillars. and partly with the third pillar. The two main pillars in the first year will be the accounting and finance pillar, with courses such as accounting for investor relations, corporate finance, the EU financial systems and bank management, economics of the EU. That will be one pillar. The second pillar is languages. So you will have courses on English for business and finance, and also a second European language, either French or German, which on the European scene is a very important language for finance. What will happen in the second year, that you will move to Lugano, where the accent will be more and more on communication. You will have courses specific on financial communications, on investor relations, on communication strategies in financial disclosures, basically understanding accounting as a form of communication, but also courses on sustainable finance and ethics, on designing digital communication. You will also have the possibility of having conversation with industry experts. That's very important. In the private banking industry, wealth management industry, but also industry experts in investor relations, so the relations of companies listed in the stock exchange with their institutionals as well as private investors. There will be also a particular line, a particular approach taken in this master. It will start in the first year with the course on speech communication, and it will culminate in the fourth semester with the course on argumentation in finance. This focus will be on rational persuasion, sustainable persuasion that is based on good reasons. And argumentation, it will be of paramount importance in providing the tools for this attitude to communication. Throughout the program, you will also have law and international affairs courses. Let me mention in the second year the course on current issues in international affairs that, similarly to the seminars in private banking and investor relations, will allow you to meet professionals of many international organizations, non-governmental organization or governmental organization or intergovernmental organizations. In Switzerland, there are many headquarters of international organizations, and so we'll exploit that to bring to you to Lugano many professionals in the area of international relations. So you will learn to relate even face to face to professionals both in the private industry and in public institutions. There is also a component of electives that allow you to make this program yours. These electives will allow you to enter also non-European languages such as Chinese and Arabic, two languages that for different reasons are very important for the financial and banking industries and for the financial services. So you will be able to work two levels during the first years in Chinese and in Arabic. You will also be able to deepen your knowledge of financial markets. In the second year, the electives cover a large palette of choices in the areas of marketing, of digital communication, of media, but also of organizational behaviors, so the institutions and organizations, and even a seminar that will be devoted to the current dynamics of the Middle East Mediterranean region, so which is in close proximity to Europe, and it's a complex and interesting place where many issues are dealt with by European individuals and institutions. So it's very important to relate to the Middle East, and you will have also the possibility of deepening this area in this master. So what are the career prospects? So I study several disciplines. I'm an interdisciplinary figure, but will I become a professional? Yes. There is a large job market, an important job market that seeks specialists that are able to deal with investor relations for European and non-European companies, with advisory that deals, for instance, proxy advisories that deals with advising shareholders of company on how to vote when the board of the company is renewed, specialists in management and control functions in private organizations in the banking and financial sectors, specialists in wealth management and investment communication for banks that offers this kind of services, consultancies that work helping companies to write and communicate effectively their financial and also their sustainability reporting. Consultants that help companies that want to do an initial public offer, so to become a public company listed in the stock exchange. You start with a startup and then you grow your company, and then at a certain moment, in order to ensure financing of the company, you want to enter the markets. It's a new world that opens up, and you need to communicate with a number of people and institutions, and so you need also communication consultants. The same when you want to do a merger with of two companies, two different cultures, two different financial structures that come together, and you have to convince inside the company and outside the investors of what you are doing. You have to explain, and there is a large demand of communication consultants for these matters. And last but not least, you can work as a financial journalist, not only in the printed press, but in many online services that nowadays cover the area of financial information, from Bloomberg to independent blogs and websites. There is a large possibility of working as a writer of financial stories and working with financial information. So the career prospects for these masters are quite interesting. And let me conclude again with Mario Draghi. We, together with our colleagues at Università Cattolica, we believe that it will be enough for you. Let me conclude now with some practical matters. The admission requirements. The candidates that hold or are about to obtain an Italian academic qualifications are invited to apply directly at the Università Cattolica, the Sacro Cuore, using the procedures that is presented in their website. The formal requirements for admission to the master's degree in European Studies in Investor Relations and Financial Communication are a bachelor degree in any of the following fields: economics and management, modern languages and linguistic mediation, communication sciences, political science and international relations, and law. There have to be at least 8 European credits in the economic and management fields, and at least 6 credits in law courses. The bachelors have to be recognized by an international recognized universities. And there are also language requirements. In order to see the full application procedure, please visit our web page at the ESIR website in the USI site. Thank you very much and goodbye.
welcome back. Thanks for watching this detailed presentation of the new master program in European Studies in Investor Relations and Financial Communication. Today with us, in order to answer all the questions you have, the director of the program, Professor Andrea Rocci.
Good afternoon.
And the coordinator of the program, Dr. Carlo Raimondo, with us.
Hello, good afternoon.
Okay, so now you're seeing us live. Below the video you're watching, there's a chat. Through the chat, you can send us questions live. We're going to answer them now. But remember that at the end of this live session, the chat will be disabled. However, you will be able to send in more questions filling the form, the online form below at the bottom of this page. And this form will stay there for the coming weeks, and you can keep sending in the questions even after this live session has ended. So let's dive into the questions we received. The first one is from Luca. And it's a question for Professor Rocci. He says the program is offered by multiple faculties in two universities. What are the job perspectives for a master like this?
The job perspectives are interesting, very interesting, and various. Over the years, I've noticed that students sometimes underestimate the breadth of job offers in this area. First of all, investor relations. All listed companies in the stock exchange need to communicate with their investors and have investor relations departments, and also recur to consultancies for investor relations, especially in important situations like the initial public offers when a young company becomes public in the stock exchange, becomes listed in the stock exchange. You need consultants for that, and there are important consultancies. There are many in Switzerland, in Zurich, in Geneva, some of them also in Lugano, and there are many in Milan. And then you have public institutions like central banks and other financial bodies that need people qualified for their institutional communications. And finally, last but not least, you have the very large and very important wealth management industry that caters with financial services for wealthy individuals, entrepreneurial families, and they need specialists of the relationship managers, people who are at ease with numbers for sure, but also people who are at ease with people, that can manage relationships with people often coming from other cultures, sometimes also with complex families, big entrepreneurial families, sometimes with multiple interests in various areas. And these interests might not be all financial. There could be, for instance, the will of doing philanthropy. And you need people able to tie everything together. So these fields, public institutions, investor relations for companies, and wealth management are the three main areas where our graduates will find a job.
Okay, thanks for the thorough answer. Professor, now a more practical issue from Roberta. It's whether she should enroll through USI or through Università Cattolica. Dr. Raimondo, can you answer this?
Yeah, sure. So you'll be enrolled at the same time in the two universities. That means that being a student in the joint program, European Studies, Investor Relations and Financial Communication, you'll be for both of the years, both a student at USI at Università Cattolica in Milan. How to enroll? Instead, we have all the administrative process and admission process that is rooted at the Università Cattolica of Milan, and through the website of the Università Cattolica, you could enroll in the master. Nevertheless, you will find all the information about the admission process also on the UZ version of the website.
Okay, thanks. And sorry, go on.
That's it.
Okay, no, a link to this again from Roberta is, will the degree be awarded by USI or by UNICAT, or may I add to the question by both institutions?
It is, the title is a joint title awarded together by the two universities. So
Okay.
you will receive a master degree in economics and communication by the two universities at the same time. So the title will be one, and the university awarding title will be the two of them.
Okay, thanks. Now one for Professor Rocci. It's a comparative question with another USI master. Is why should I choose this master instead of the USI master in banking and finance, for example?
It depends on what you want to do. If you want to enter the more technical aspects of finance, if you want to become a quantitative specialist, someone who works with model, you should choose banking and finance. If you want to work with relationships, if you want to work with people, if you want to understand how finance work, but in particular work with the people that need financial services, and if you want basically to explain finance to people who are not have no technical competencies in finance, you should choose the Master in Investor Relations and Financial Communication. Also, if you come from a degree that is not a bachelor degree in economics, I think this master is a very good way to enter the financial industry.
Okay, thorough answer and very detailed. I think it was pretty clear. Next one, we received one from through the online form, and so this one is from Lucia, and she is asking another practical thing, given the fact that the program is between two different places throughout the 2 years. And the question is, do USI University help students out in looking for accommodation? Dr. Raimondo, you have...
Oh, yeah, sure. So first thing, I want you to consider that actually Milan and Lugano are not that far away. They are just 1 hour by train. And so for all people living in between the two cities, it's possible to commute either to Milan or Lugano. That means that if you live in Lugano, you can go daily to Milan and the other way around. Not saying this is the ideal solution. If you want to find an accommodation both in Milan and Lugano, we have specialized services that provide you with some help in finding housing in both Milan and Lugano. In Lugano, we have the servizi alloggi, accommodation services, that will help you to navigate all the offers that are on the market.
Okay, thanks. Thanks a lot. Then the next question through the chat is from Mattia, and he was carefully listening while Professor Rocci was mentioning the career possibilities, and he finds them very interesting. But he has a question related to this. It's whether career fairs or contacts with major companies are or will be organized during the master. Who wants to tackle this, Professor or Carlo? Professor Rocci? Yes.
Yes, thank you, Mattia. It's a great question, and that allows me to stress one feature of our master, the seminars, the two seminars, one devoted to private banking, where you will have the possibility to meet professionals in the field of wealth management, of private banking, in a very close interaction. So you will start meeting professionals during the courses, and the other seminar in investor relations that will do the same for investor relations. Then there is also a seminar on concerning international relations, where you will meet representative of big international organizations that have their headquarters in Switzerland. That said, this will be within the program. Outside the program, there is our career service that is very active in helping students find an internship, finding contacts with company, and we do have every year a career fair. It's a broad Swiss initiative. We have that at our university. We had the last edition in November. I was there chairing a meeting with Bloomberg. You know that in financial communication, Bloomberg is a huge company, was perhaps the most important distributor of financial information. There are offices in Lugano, and we can have this kind of contacts. The same happens in Milan. Università Cattolica has many contacts with the Milan Stock Exchange, with the major banks that have their headquarters in Milan.
So it's a win-win situation. The two universities,
Yes.
double degree.
I would say so, Rosario. It's the fact that you have the two cities can be also a big advantage, because also you can rely on two different career services to look for an internship.
Perfect.
Rosario, can I add something?
Sure.
Yeah, I want also to mention that since this master is a new initiative, before launching it, we consulted with all the major financial institutions in Italy and Switzerland in order to understand if actually there is a market for these kind of skills, capabilities, and graduates. And the positive answer was not only necessary for having the master approved, but was also what encouraged us to go forward to this kind of share and joint initiative with Catholic University of Milan.
Oh, thanks for pointing this out, and it's a very important thing. I mean, this means that there was research, and it's something that it was built together with somehow the needs of the job market in mind, and of course for a student that is going to choose his graduate path, it's very important to know this kind of information. So as of now, we answered all the questions. Please, if you want to send something through the chat, do it so quickly. Otherwise, at the end of the session, I remember you will be able to send in questions through the form for the coming days. Now, if Professor Rocci, the director, wants to say some final words.
Yes, we are really very excited with this new master. Our university was already offering a master in financial communication that had a good success in placing graduates in good jobs. But now it becomes more interesting because of the partner in Milan, with the Faculty of Banking and Finance in Milan, but also the Faculty of Linguistic Sciences. I wouldn't underestimate the linguistic part, which is pretty interesting. You have the possibility of working on your German and entering financial jobs in the German-speaking world. That's a very interesting possibility, and you also have the possibility to work with extra-European languages such as Arabic and Chinese. We would like also to add more, but we need to consult with our colleagues in the Faculty of Linguistic Sciences in Milan. But we are pretty excited also for this intercultural, multilingual element in the master.
Thanks, Professor. I thank Dr. Raimondo as well, the coordinator of the program, for joining us today and answering the questions.
Thank you.
From me, it's all. From us, it's all. So thank you for attending, and we hope to see you next year enrolled in this program, and we will welcome you in Lugano and in Milan. Thanks and goodbye.